In a fresh setback for U.S. President Donald Trump's signature economic policy, a federal court struck down the 10% worldwide tariffs imposed by him earlier this year. And this comes just a week before he is due to discuss trade ties with his Chinese counterpart. In a 2-1 ruling, the U.S. Court of International Trade held the 10% tariffs to be illegal. Its order came on a suit filed by the state of Washington and 2 small businesses. They basically argued that the new tariffs were an attempt to sidestep U.S. Supreme Court's decision to strike down global tariffs imposed in 2025. According to the court, the Trump administration lacked justification to enact tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, noting that there was no large and serious balance of payments crisis. This provision basically allows a president to impose up to 15% tariffs across all imports without getting congressional approval if certain criteria are met. Meanwhile, Trump blamed the verdict on what he described as 2 radical left judges. As per reports, the U.S. government is likely to challenge this verdict. However, the court issued an important caveat. Its relief will be applicable only to 3 petitioners and not the other importers, rejecting a request from a group of 24 other states. The judges ruled, I'm quoting from the verdict, Private plaintiffs make no specific arguments for a universal injunction. Cost to one plaintiff is not an appropriate basis for the imposition of a universal injunction. Now, this verdict also coming at a crucial juncture when the American economy is on shaky ground. As per data released by the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the country's national debt is now larger than the economy as a whole, hitting levels last seen in 1946. As of March 31, the total debt held by American public is $31.27 trillion US, whereas America's GDP stands at $31.22 trillion US. This means that national debt as a percentage of the GDP stands at 100.2%. The U.S. has also started facilitating refunds of over $166 billion US, which it earned from tariffs after the Supreme Court verdict. Now, the tariff saga dates back to April last year, remember, when Trump invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose a baseline duty of 10% on most foreign imports. Subsequently, he claimed that the U.S. is earning $2 billion US per day from tariffs. In July 2025, meanwhile, he further enhanced tariffs on multiple countries, including Canada, Brazil, India, Taiwan. However, Trump faced a big blow in February this year when the U.S. Supreme Court struck down his global tariffs. However, the U.S. president was ready with a plan B. On the very same day of the verdict, he used the Trade Act of 1974 to levy a flat 10% tariff on all countries for a period of 150 days. Amid all of this, the U.S. president mounted pressure on the European Union. In a telephonic conversation, he warned the EU president that tariffs on European nations will jump to much higher levels unless EU cuts tariffs on U.S. goods to 0 by July 4. Earlier, Trump, remember, threatened to increase tariffs on EU cars and trucks from 15% to 25% this week.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.